Excuse me. Hello and welcome back to Nails by Sora. Yeah, so I didn't anticipate doing another Valentine's series, but I wanted to do a sweater nail, and I figured why not do a Valentine's sweater nail? And then I was going through my YouTube channel and I was getting all these videos pop up with different nail art ideas for Valentine's Day, and I saw a few that I liked that kind of inspired me to do my own tweak on it. So here we are again with more Valentine's Day nails. So I am using the brightest pink that I have by Makartt and Glam, of which I do not remember the name. But as always, all the products will be listed down in the description box below. But I did 2 coats to make it very, very vibrant. And I cured it, and then I did a matte coat base and I cured that. And now I'm going in with the line art to create the sweater nails. So first I'm just starting off with 2 stripes on either side of the nail, and I'm coating it very heavily with clear acrylic powder. Now you want to do this until the gel liquid no longer reflects or is no longer shiny. So you'll want to pour some over, wait a bit, wait for it to soak up the acrylic powder. If it goes shiny again, pour some more over and keep doing so until it stays matte. Then once it is matte, you'll put it in the lamp, do a full cure, and you'll go on with the rest of your design. Now, I wouldn't suggest doing the whole design in one go, because if you love the nail and then you get to the last detail and all of a sudden you make a mistake and you have to wipe the whole thing off, it's just more of a hassle than anyone should be willing to deal with. So go in stages, do the border lines, then do the central design, and then go on to doing your accent designs on the sides of the nail, which is what I'm going to do after I lay in the hearts. Now I know it's kind of difficult. Ow, baby! My kitty cat is nipping at my fingers. But it's her birthday tomorrow, so I can't be mad at her. But yeah, so I'm just laying in some hearts to be the central focus of this sweater nail since it is for Valentine's Day. But I am aware that the color is quite bright and it's difficult to see the detail in the video. I tried adjusting the color somewhat, but it wasn't really working so much. But you'll be able to see it in the end when I show off 5 nails. And I'm going to show a close-up of this specific nail once I finish the design. So I'm laying in the hearts by doing 2 dots next to each other with a dotting tool, and then I'm using a fine liner to connect them into a point at the base and then fill it in through the center up to where they connect from the 2 dots. Coating it once again in acrylic powder and then putting it in for the full cure. So here it is all finished. You can see I added some dots in between the hearts, and I've got the downward slashes on either side. I'm very proud of myself that I actually got them going in the right direction this time. So now I'm going in with Vintage Pink for the second nail, which is going to be an offset swirly heart. This is one of the inspos that I saw while I was going through YouTube today. And it's not an exact replica. I would never want to copy someone else's work. There's no point in doing something if you can't make it your own. So I started out with just wanting to do one side larger than the other, and I started off with the white and then went in with gold gel paints by Madame Glam. But I wasn't quite satisfied with just a simple line art design of the heart, so I ended up going in and building it out a little bit more along the right hand side. I am using cherry petals as, I'm sorry, I misspoke before. It's not white, it's cherry petals by Madame Glam. And so I'm using that on the right hand side and then the gold gel paint on the left. But then I went and built out the right hand side of the heart, alternating between more cherry petals and the gold gel paint. Now the palette that's in the background, I go into greater detail in another video that's coming up as to what it is and how you use it. It's a palette that I saw, excuse me, the nail artist Katie Dutra. I'll link her channel down below. She uses it. I think she has a few different ones, but it's great because I'm so tired of wasting my gel paints every time I dispense some onto a palette and then I don't use it all. I end up having to clean it off because I don't want to cure it to the palette. And either way, it would become unusable. So this way, I can dispense some into the palette, and then when I'm done with it, I can just close the lid, put it away, and pull it out again next time that I want to use the same colors. So it's very handy. The little capsules inside are magnetic, so they will stick to the inside of the tray and not move around. I got it on Amazon. I'll link that down below as well. And this way, you can keep all your frequent colors at hand and use them whenever you need to without actually having to pull out the bottles and dispense them onto a separate palette. But here I am building out the right side of the heart, and I wasn't sure whether I wanted this one to be, most of the nails in this set are completely matte. If I used a gel paint, I kept it shiny as a nice accent. So I did that with this one. The gold gel paint obviously is, well, not obviously. Madame Glam's gel paints, they dry without a sticky layer, a tacky layer, so that if you decide that you want to add it on at the end, you can do so without having to worry about wiping off an inhibition layer or a top coating over it. So since I used cherry petals in conjunction with it, I needed to put a clear gel coat on top of it. So that's what I did. I just used my long liner and I went over it with clear top coat and then left the rest of the nail matte. So this one, which one is this one? Let us see. This one is, right. This is another nail that I go into greater detail in an upcoming video. And they're roses done with blooming gel. So I have cherry petals once again in the palette, and I put down blossom gel or blooming gel, and I'm just going in and I'm creating the petals of a rose. And the way that I did that is I put the point of my long liner down into the blossom gel, and then I dragged clockwise around the center portion of the rose. And then I went back in and I took the larger portion of that line and I curved it back around counterclockwise. So it's creating kind of a wide U that flows around a central point. Like I said, I'm going to go into greater detail as to how I did it in one of my other videos, so stay tuned and check back. But now that first rose is done and cured, I'm going in with another layer of Blossom Gel, and I'm going to go in with Perfect White and lay in a secondary rose. And the reason why I did the pink in the background and the white in the foreground is so that the white being brighter and pure white, it would stand out, and the one in the done with cherry petals is going to kind of get pushed into the background, and they'll look like one is on top of the other. I did want the one that's in the background to be smaller than it came out, but I do love the way it turned out, and I'm not mad about it. So I've gone in and I've done a layer of matte top coat so that I can go in with my gel paints and line around the edge of the flower petals. And this is just to accent them, give them a little bit more depth, make them stand out, and really give them that 3D look. So I'm going to be honest and say that this fourth nail is not my favorite. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I kind of just threw it together. I'm not really sure what the name of this color is, but I'm using Venus Chroming Flakes by Magpie Beauty, and I'm just rubbing them into the surface until they kind of meld together and chrome. It's this beautiful, I absolutely love it. It's beautiful purple, blue, green, hollow chrome that's achieved. And I may use it coming up, going into summer months, see if I can find a use for it with some additional artwork. But I kind of overdid it in terms of the design on top of it, to the point where you really lost the effect. I'm going over it with Dreaming of Iceland right now, which is a beautiful milky white, but it muted it a little bit too much, and then I end up going over it with Alcohol Inks, also by Magpie Beauty. And the white, I've never really used white alcohol ink before, and this is really, really bright white. And on top of the milky white, it kind of just destroyed the layers below. So if I were to do it again, I would leave out the milky white layer and just go in with the white alcohol ink, because once I finished working with the veining, and I was trying to create like a marbling effect with the chroming flakes in the background, and I kind of just, it got muted and weird and not at all what I intended. So I end up going in with a glossy coat, putting in a few more Mylar chroming flakes to try to get them to stand out a little bit more. But I don't think it really came out the way I wanted it to. So going into the fifth and final nail, it is going to be a marble nail, which is a technique I absolutely love doing. Generally speaking, when I go in and do a marble nail, I lay out the colors on the palette and scoop up various colors at once and let them flow over the surface of the nail using blooming gel, English. And but this time I wanted to go in a little bit more deliberately and choose one color at a time using my long liner. So I'm starting in, I used Perfect White as my background, and then I went in with Cherry Petals to create a very pale pink vein. And now I'm just layering in other colors alongside it, letting it bleed out, dragging it so that it achieves the effects that I'm going for, and kind of just letting it do its thing. When it gets to a point where I think I want more color in a certain place, or I want it to divert at a specific angle, then I try to coach it that way. I was getting some unevenness with bulking of gel up along the edges, so I just took a clean liner brush and I pulled the gel either up, down, or across the nail to even it out. But this is one of those techniques where it just allows you to explore your creativity and let it be really unexpected but deliberate at the same time, because you can really take your time and play with it, but it's still something that you can't really plan out. You can coach it to a certain extent, but the benefit, searching for my words, of using Blossom Gel is to have that that freedom from planning, to kind of just let whatever's going to happen, if that makes sense. I don't know if anything makes sense anymore. But once again, I went in with the matte top coat, and now I'm using the silver chrome gel paint to create some more veining to make it pop and give it a little bit more interest. So those are all 5 nails. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me again. To all of my subscribers, thank you for coming back. For anyone who's new, who's made it this long, put a pink heart in the comment section below. Check out the description box for all the information on the products. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below. If you are not yet subscribed, please do so. Help build my channel. Give me a like and hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next video.